What if you could live near beaches, eat out daily, and enjoy a relaxed tropical lifestyle for less than many people spend on rent alone in Western countries? For years, the Philippines has quietly remained one of the most affordable places in Asia for expats and retirees. But here's the hidden truth nobody tells you. Not all cheap places in the Philippines are actually comfortable to live in long term. Some areas may be affordable, but feel isolated, stressful, unsafe, or emotionally exhausting after the honeymoon phase ends. And many foreigners make the mistake of chasing the absolute cheapest lifestyle possible, only to regret it later. Because retirement happiness is not just about spending less money. It's about finding the right balance between affordability, comfort, healthcare, convenience, peace and quiet, safety, and emotional quality of life. And surprisingly, some of the happiest expats in the Philippines are not living in the most famous tourist destinations. They're quietly living in smaller cities and underrated provinces where life feels slower, calmer, and dramatically cheaper. By the end of this video, you may completely rethink what affordable retirement paradise actually looks like. Dumaguete City. Dumaguete is the city that appears on every best places to retire list, and for good reason. It's small enough to be manageable, big enough to have what you need, cheap enough to stretch your pension, and friendly enough to make you feel at home within weeks. The cost breakdown: a one-bedroom apartment near the boulevard, 12,000 to 18,000 pesos, $200 to $300. A two-bedroom house in a subdivision, 18,000 to 28,000 pesos, 300 to 570. The closer you are to the beachfront Rizal Boulevard, the higher the rent, but even beachfront isn't outrageous. Utilities are standard for the Philippines. Electricity, 3,000 to 5,000 pesos. Water, 300 to 500 pesos. Internet, 1,200 to 1,500. Total, under $100 monthly. Food is where Dumaguete shines. The public market is excellent. Fresh seafood from the nearby Tunon Strait. Vegetables from the mountain barangays. Davao City. Davao is the economic powerhouse of Mindanao, the southern island of the Philippines. It's clean, safe, organized, and surprisingly affordable for a city of 1.8 million people. The former mayor, Rodrigo Duterte, built his reputation here on law and order, and while his methods were controversial, the result is a city that feels safer and more functional than Manila. The cost advantage is cheap for a major city. A one-bedroom apartment in a good area like Lanang or Matina, 12,000 to 20,000 pesos, $200 to $335. A three-bedroom house in a subdivision, 20,000 to 35,000 pesos, $335 to $585. These are prices you'd pay in a small town elsewhere, not a major metropolis. Why Davao stands out? Safety. Davao has a reputation for being one of the safest cities in the Philippines. The 911 emergency response system was pioneered here. There's a citywide curfew for minors. Smoking is banned in public places. It feels orderly. Infrastructure. Davao has good roads, modern malls, and a decent airport with flights to Manila, Cebu, Singapore, and domestic destinations. The seaport is busy. It's a real working city, not just a retirement spot. Now, I want to be honest with you here. Tagbilaran is not the same kind of city as Davao or Dumaguete. It's smaller. The infrastructure is more limited. The selection of international goods and restaurants is more limited. There are fewer expats. But if what you're chasing is the actual island paradise life, not a city that happens to have a beach nearby, but genuine island living, Bohol is in a different league entirely. The cost breakdown. In Tagbilaran City, the capital, a one-bedroom apartment costs 12,000 to 18,000 pesos, $200 to $235. In Panglo, near the beaches, prices jump to 20,000 to 35,000 pesos, $335 to $585. Still, a beachfront villa in Panglo costs less than a studio apartment in Miami. Utilities are standard. Electricity, 3,000 to 5,000 pesos. Water, 300 to 500 pesos. Internet, 1,200 to 1,500. Total, $85 to $130. General Santos. Here's the thing about General Santos. It is the tuna capital of the Philippines. The city's economy is built around fishing, particularly yellowfin tuna, and what that means for you as an expat is access to some of the freshest, highest quality seafood you have ever eaten in your life at prices that are almost impossible to believe. We're talking about buying a 1 kilogram slab of sashimi-grade fresh yellowfin tuna at the market for around 200 pesos. That's roughly 3.5 US dollars. For sashimi-grade tuna, the food value is unreal. If you're a food person, someone who genuinely cares about quality, fresh produce and seafood, Gensan is your city. Nothing else on this list comes close for sheer food quality per dollar. Lower competition for good properties. Because Gensan isn't yet a major expat hub, landlords aren't inflating prices for foreigners the way they might in more established areas. You can genuinely negotiate here. Iloilo. Culture. Real, deep, historic culture. Iloilo was one of the most important cities in the Spanish colonial era, and that history is written into its gorgeous heritage architecture, its food traditions, its festivals like the world-famous Dinagyang, and the pride its residents take in their city. Iloilo is also a major education hub. Over 60 colleges and universities operate here. Same effect as Dumaguete, educated, English-fluent population, cosmopolitan mindset in a medium-sized city. And the food. Iloilo is considered the culinary capital of the Western Visayas region. Healthcare and infrastructure without Manila or Cebu prices. This is the sweet spot that makes Iloilo so attractive. Bacolod City. Bacolod is the capital of Negros Occidental Province on the western side of Negros Island, the same island as Dumaguete, just on the opposite coast. And there's something about Bacolod that is genuinely harder to quantify than rent prices or food costs. It's just pleasant. The people here have a reputation throughout the Philippines for being warm, generous, and outgoing. Rent. Decent apartment in the city, $78 to $139. Comfort, modern 1BR condo or nice apartment, $173 to $347. Premium, spacious house or top-floor condo, $382 to $695. Cagayan de Oro. If you're not quite ready to sit still, if retirement for you means adventure, not just relaxation, then Cagayan de Oro is calling your name. It's the gateway to one of the Philippines' most dramatic adventure tourism scenes. Whitewater rafting on the Cagayan de Oro River right through the heart of the city. Camigan Island, one of the country's most beautiful islands, is a 2-hour ferry ride away. Mount Balatucan, Bukidnon Province's highlands, Del Monte pineapple plantations. For the active retiree or adventurous expat, CDO gives you an urban home base with extraordinary adventure on your doorstep. Rent. Budget, $87 to $148. Comfort, $208 to $382. Premium, $434 to $782. Siquijor. Siquijor is a small island province south of Cebu. It has one city, a few towns, and some of the most beautiful beaches in the Philippines. And because it has no airport with international connections and a reputation for mysticism, it remains undeveloped and incredibly cheap. The cost of paradise. A basic bungalow near the beach, 10,000 to 15,000 pesos, $170 to $250. A small house inland, 8,000 to 12,000 pesos, $135 to $200. These are beachfront adjacent prices that would cost $2,000 plus in Thailand or Bali. Panay, Roxas City. Roxas City is not on most expat radar screens. It's not in the guidebooks, there are no international flights, no luxury resorts, no expat pubs, and that's exactly why it's so cheap and why the few expats who live there love it. The shocking costs. A 1-bedroom apartment in Roxas City, 8,000 to 12,000 pesos, $135 to $200. A 3-bedroom house, 15,000 to 22,000 pesos, $250 to $370. These are 2026 prices, and they're lower than Dumaguete was 5 years ago. The downside. Roxas City is quiet. There's no nightlife to speak of. The expat community is tiny. You might be the only foreigner in your neighborhood. Shopping is limited. No IKEA, no Costco, no imported cheese section. If you need specialized products, you're ordering online or traveling to Iloilo.